Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Tottenham Hotspur bounced back from the disappointment in the North London derby last weekend with a good 2-1 victory over Aston Villa themselves. Still very buoyant, still very happy, still full of zip after beating Man United at Old Trafford. An interesting look when it comes to the league table as it stands right now after today's results. You see as we scroll up here, Tottenham find themselves in 8th position after today's win on 12 points. But it's very, very close indeed. Spurs 2 points away from second place in the table. West Ham nicked a draw after being a goal down today as well. Leicester, I said I wouldn't call Brendan Rodgers a bottle job again, but threw away another lead. In the Premier League today after being 2-0 up. Really, really poor from them. As we can see, there's the top 10 in the league table. We scroll down now. Arsenal into 11th position now. They have moved one. They were down as low as 12th during that game. They've now moved down into that 11th position at full time. We want to take your views. We want to get your opinions on what's gone on today. We want to gauge what you're thinking and feeling. Of course, West Ham went on to lose. 2-1 it is right now to Brentford. I get that wrong. I hadn't checked the updates before I went live. So that's why it's changed the league table around. And plus, Leicester were winning. And when they were winning, they put Arsenal down into that 12th position place. They've moved back up to 11th. But it's very, very tight indeed right now. It's going to be an exhilarating Premier League season. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Make sure that like button is being smashed, please. Make sure you're smashing that like button for us. I didn't actually see that update that had just gone in. Full time now. Whistle has just gone. Yeah, 93rd minute winner for Brentford. Absolutely spectacular from their point of view. What a start to life in the Premier League they have had. Finding themselves 7th, as you can see there, right there, 7th in the Premier League table is absolutely brilliant for them. 3 wins, 3 draws, and just 1 defeat on 12 points. I mean, on that form, they're fighting for top 4. Absolutely brilliant. But we're here to talk Tottenham. We're here to have a look at what happened in your game today, as you're a featured club on the Football Terrace. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're feeling. Get me your views and your opinions in now. George here says, missing Evans, Justin, and Fofana, this and easy. Listen, everyone's going to have players missing. And of course, you know, they're big players out. Leicester have just had a terrible start to this campaign. Today will feel like a loss for Leicester City fans, there's no doubt. And it's already a big, heavy dent into the top 4 race for them. It really is a big, heavy dent. Remember, we're nearly 1/4 of the way into this season. So at some point soon, league positions are going to start to count. Maybe another 2 or 3 games time. That's when we start to look at it and go, okay, the season is starting to shape up where teams are going to be. Of course, big game coming later, Liverpool versus Man City. We're going to be live after that game, bringing it all to you. Old Trafford Dance Floor says, excuses FC. Freddie here says, Spurs go above Arsenal. North London is white. And it's why, you know, League Gunner gets a lot of stick. But as he said last week, and he said on the Straight Facts show, slow down a little bit, because there's a long way to go this season. There's a lot left to be desired. And a week later, Spurs win, and Arsenal get outplayed by Brighton from front to back. And Spurs are now in front. You know, and I'm not saying it's not by a huge margin, it's 2 points. But I still think that Spurs' start to the season is not as bad as people make out. They're the better team today. For me, were a little bit more aggressive. Opening 10 minutes, really, really poor, I felt, from Tottenham. There was almost that hangover. There was almost like that kind of hangover again from the previous week. But they grew into the game. Son delivering again to us why he's one of the best inside forwards, one of the best kind of wide players in the Premier League. And in fact, Europe, to be fair, I find him such a waste not seeing him in the Champions League on a regular basis. He's such a good player. I thought Romero today at the back for Tottenham was absolutely sensational. Sensational. And it beggars the question, why on God's green earth? Why on God's green earth did Nuno not start him sooner in the season? Why didn't he play against Arsenal? You saw a difference massively. Slight mistake from him rushing out for a challenge that led to the equaliser. But when we're being really honest, that equaliser happened because Eric Dyer didn't track his man. He stopped his run and he allowed Watkins to get goal side. He was goal side of Watkins, and he allowed Watkins to get the run on him. awful defending from Eric Dyer, didn't sense the danger, should have been cleared fairly simplistically, really. But then Tottenham responded straight away. Tottenham came back out pretty much. I mean, I don't remember the exact timings because I don't really look at the clock when I'm watching football. But I swear it was within a minute or so. Yeah, it was within 2 minutes that equalised. Now, the assist is being taken away from Son. But I don't know. It looked like a goal, but Son was influential in that. He really, really was. And, you know, I felt a little bit sorry for Mora and Son not to get sort of credited with the output, but it was a great response, direct and hard. And they turned it on today. And I thought overall, really good game. You know, Harry Kane had 2 or 3 really good chances to score. He should have put that to bed. I'm going to talk Harry Kane in a few moments' time. But overall, a really good response from Tottenham. They can go into the international break now, you know, with their head held high to a degree, kind of semi-relaxed and go, okay, you know, we're in 12th place. The season's still ours. You know, we're still in control of things. Their next game is Newcastle. Should be beating Newcastle, pushing towards that 15-point mark. Well in the hunt for a European place. Still mathematically well in with a chance of the top 4. I know some Spurs fans were not particularly happy, but as an outsider watching, I thought there was much more positive today than we've seen negatives in recent weeks. But I do want your thoughts and feelings. I'm going to open the lines in a few minutes for you to come on and have your say to give me an idea of what you're thinking and what you're feeling in relation to this game. Zotta Stevens here says, give Palace credit for the performance. Yeah, look, Palace done very well to come back. But my criticism goes to Brendan Rodgers and his team. Because people tell me he should be managing one of the big clubs. And that's why my criticism of Rodgers is so high. Because I see this happen too often. And they've got a few players out injured. No excuse. No excuses at all. He threw away a 2-goal lead. And in the Premier League, when you're a team that's given an outside chance of top 4 finishing, when your Lord is one of the best technical and tactical coaches in the league, you deserve the criticism that comes with that. That's it. That's it. That's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. I'm seeing Arsenal fans on Twitter here saying they said it after they beat us. Brentford are taking a lot of points off good teams this season. Same as Brighton. Tough league. Arsenal fans always trying to defend their team's mistakes. Yeah, they will. But when you're Arsenal with a squad, so the valuation of Arsenal's squad is almost 3 times the value of Brighton's. And the last time I checked, it was at least 3 to 3.5 times the value of Brentford's. It's not about being beat. Oh, they nicked it. It's about being played off the park. Played off the park. And the difference is as well, when it comes to teams like West Ham attack everyone that isn't one of the big 6 clubs as a general rule. They'll sit back and be compact. The way we saw Everton do against Man United yesterday. That's a normal sort of action. When those teams outplay you, have more of the ball than you, play the better football, that's the problem with all our clubs. That's my view on it anyway. Arsenal fans always trying to make their failings look better. Brentford, you're comparing yourself to West Ham. West Ham! Think about that. You're comparing yourself to West Ham. David Moyes, West Ham. Oh, wow. I'm in shock. I'm in shock to see this. I'm in shock. Robbie Singh here says, Terry, do you think Kane might be letting Ndombele? Might be letting Ndombele. I feel they may play better without him. Ndombele feels like a breath of fresh air. So that's a great segue. It's a great segue for me. I wanted to speak on Harry Kane. I know we got into some good positions later on in the game. I know that he had a really good chance to score. There was a brilliant back heel that led to an opportunity for Lo Celso. But Harry Kane at Tottenham right now reminds me of the last 6 to 12 months of Christian Eriksen at Tottenham. A player that doesn't want to be there. At this level of sport, at this level of any kind of, at the elite end of any sport, business, industry at all, if you're 5% off your game, you're letting people down. The margins are so fine. Millimeters worth of margins. And Harry Kane is off the pace. Harry Kane isn't, in my opinion, busting a gut. He isn't busting a gut to deliver for Tottenham. we're only a few months away from January, really, and it'll come around quick. I do think Daniel Levy has got to look at the situation then. Would Man City still be interested? Are they going to get offered as much cash? Who can they bring in as a replacement? Because for me, right now, looking at Harry Kane in a Tottenham shirt, I get no signs that he really wants to be there. None at all. And maybe that will turn around, but I expected him by now to shake it off. By the way, it isn't acceptable for Harry Kane. It isn't acceptable at all. He should have shook this off by now, and he should be motoring on forward. Forget the club for a minute, as in Daniel Levy, the owners, teammates, T-Lady, janitor, who cares? He should be thinking about you, the fans. You pay his wages. You buy the shirts, you buy the tickets, you buy the merch, you buy the sponsors' products. He isn't thinking about you. And I'm a big fan of Harry Kane. Everybody knows that. But for me right now, it's disgraceful watching him play and perform the way in which he is. I want your thoughts and feelings on it. We're going to take your calls on. That's one of the big talking points today. Harry Kane, should he be kept in that team? Should he be dropped? How is he making you feel as a rival, as a Spurs fan, whatever it may be? Kay here says, Terry, I love your channel, content and discussions. Watch it all daily. But please stop inviting Sonny on to represent Liverpool fans. He's an embarrassment to us. I understand Sonny upsets a lot of people with his take. I suppose this is my view on it. Sonny, like about 10 to 15, I'll probably invite 10 to 15 Liverpool fans that I know well onto every show. Some say they can't because they're contracted to other YouTube channels. I get a lot of names thrown at me for big YouTubers that we all know of. I can't say their names because I don't want to sound like I'm throwing anyone under a bus. The amount that can't come on because of contracts with other YouTube channels is why it is what it is. But at the same time, we're no echo chambers. If Sonny wants to come on and give an opinion, we are going to allow him to do it. The one thing I don't advocate within the fan channel community is what I'm seeing a lot of at the moment. It's if someone has an opinion that the majority disagree with, don't have them on. It's not good for your platform. For me, it's about letting someone express themselves. I disagree with about 90% of what he says, but we won't stop him or anybody else from coming on and having their say. But I do hear you and I do take the feedback, and I do understand where you're coming from. Maria Williams here with a 12-month member chat, super chat, says, played better today. Still early days, though. Come on, you Spurs. You're absolutely right there. It is early days. But you win. And I think that's the most important thing at the moment. Sorry, I meant to say, do you think Kane is letting his team down and Ndombele seems to be? I liked Ndombele in that more number 10-esque role today. I think when he's further forward, I don't know what it is with football fans. We try and put people into this like box-to-box field where they're great at doing everything in midfield. I see him as, whenever he plays further forward, I think he has the freedom. He doesn't have to worry about the defensive side of things too much. You just see a better Ndombele. You see him more free. You see him more fluid. You see him more relaxed Ndombele. And he just goes out there and does his stuff. Maybe it's worth giving him 4 or 5 games in what I would call the Eriksen role. Not doing what Eriksen does. He's a different kind of player. But playing in that whole linking up with the front line. In terms of Harry Kane, like I've said, he is letting the team down right now. I would be looking at a different option to start centrally and sticking that man on the bench until he wants to work his backside off. That's where Nuno needs to send a message to the players that doesn't matter who you are, you ain't going to be able to get away with that kind of behaviour. Paul says, why don't Spurs ever buy a decent backup for Harry Kane? All Big Six teams have decent backups. Do you know what I would say to that, Paul? And you're right. It's one of the reasons why I didn't believe that Harry Kane's sale was off the table. Because remember, the Spurs board briefed the Spurs media that they were trying to sign Lautaro Martinez as a partner for Kane. And why didn't they do it? And if they couldn't get him, they had the money there, yeah? Where'd that money go? Who they spent that 70 mil on? No one. They lied to their fans. 110%. We're going to go to calls now. First up, Eleanor's going to be on with us now to give us her thoughts and her feelings. Alan's coming up as well to give us his opinions on today's game. Make sure you've smashed that like and that share button. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show, El.
Hey.
Hello,
yeah, I'm literally just walking back from the game.
How was it in your eyes?
Better than usual. Like, we actually attacked. We actually played decently. I think that was the one win that we've had where I can say, like, we actually deserve to win overall.
Yeah,
no, I think the other wins that we've had, it was luck more than anything.
Yeah, no. Listen, I completely and utterly hear you. I think that you amazing from beginning to end. No, but there were
No, we
improvements.
started really slow.
Yeah. Oh, I want to ask you. There's a lot of talk about Harry Kane not putting in the effort. How did it feel in the stadium watching him? What was the atmosphere like towards Harry Kane, or is that not something that was really picked up in the ground? I'm not too sure what's going on with your set. Can you hear me, El? I'm going to put Elle backstage. I'm not too sure what's going on there. She can hear me or not. Harry Kane's performance was way better today, is what's being said. And it may very well have been. I'm going to bring Alan on to have his say on matters. Now, Alan's here with me. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Better than last weekend. I was a bit annoyed last weekend. I'm still annoyed that we've put in that performance against Villa as a reaction to that poor performance against Arsenal, but we've got the win. I'm not going to change my stance on Nuno just yet because I don't want it to be a similar situation to Ollie where when it comes to the crunch, he gets the results to keep him in a job. And then it's one of them like halfway through the season, back and forth, like not getting the results. We started off so slow. And then we got better as the game went on. When we attacked, we looked a much different team. That's why I'm just, with the talent we've got, with the people we've got going forward, why is it always so defence-minded first? It's because Nuno is that type of coach. So hopefully, somehow he can find the bit in the middle where he can have attacking whilst keeping that defensive shape about him. Harry Kane's getting better performances week on week. It's still nowhere near what he had. I'm taking away that performance in midweek against Mura, where you're going to get much better chances against a team like that. So he still needs to perform. Romero, why hasn't he been starting all this league for Dyer and Sanchez? He did do one thing wrong. He does like to come out for a challenge when I think he can stay back, but that's the thing that will develop into his game. But overall, a much better team performance, much more high energy without people in the team like Dele Alli for me, who just doesn't have it anymore, and we should get rid of him. In regards to the Harry Kane situation, we were never going to sign a backup striker. We never really signed backup strikers that perform to the extent that other teams do. But I would still sell him in January and use that money to bring in somebody else who will come to us in January. It's another difficult thing to negotiate. But for me, Harry Kane still needs to go.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you on the Harry Kane thing. As you say, better performances, no doubt.
Yeah.
But he's just gone. He's just gone. Yeah. You can see it mentally, and it isn't fair. And this is where it comes down to. We're talking about this in the Man United fan base at the moment, and everybody's like, Ollie's got to be sacked. Cool. So let's say 80% of people agree Ollie's got to go. 80% of people agree Kane's got to go. It suddenly has to stop being about Kane and Ollie, and you look at your owners because that's where they've got to get it done. So you can slag off Kane every week. Yeah. But if the criticism on socials is about Kane, Levy ain't listening. It's when you turn the attention to them and go, well, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, we'll take action against you, whether it be not going to games or whatever. But the thing is, no one's going to do any of that. That's the issue with it. Yeah. And it's like the fans will let Levy off the hook again now. I just see it being a little bit of a, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not going to. For me, Daniel Levy has done so much wrong in his thing like that. I'm still holding him to the thing where he reckons we've lost our the Tottenham DNA in building the stadium and off the pitch and stuff like that. So correct that then and start making big, bold choices on the pitch to that team to progress this team to winning trophies, which you claim you want to do, but we've won in my lifetime 3, one of which I can't remember. So he's got to start proving it on the pitch, not off the pitch, on the pitch with the change, like what the funds he's given and the big decisions. Because for me, he was a coward in the summer. Losing Harry Kane, that's the headline he saw, that Spurs lose Harry Kane to any other, rather than actually how can I develop this team moving forward. That was the thing that he feared the most, is being seen as the guy who sold Harry Kane. So for me, him and like Joe Lewis, for me, it's got too long now. He needs to put his own money into this club to progress us. And for me, I'm looking to them now, but I'm just hoping this is a starting point to continue those type of performances and push up the league. If we go straight back to the performances of the last 3 before this with no intensity, defense-minded, the team not knowing what they're doing, then I'll come back to my Nuno thing, but it was a good performance, but it had to be after those 3 shocking performances.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It really did. Listen, great call. Thanks for coming on, mate, and giving us your thoughts. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very
Cheers,
much
Harry.
indeed. Top man. Eleanor is back with us again now. Hopefully we can hear her. Elle, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Sorry, I was walking and I must have lost service.
No worries, no worries. A lot of people online are talking about Harry Kane, him looking disinterested, not trying. What was your take watching him live at the stadium?
I mean, yeah, this is all valid. He's definitely disinterested, and he's not putting in the same effort as he was previous years. I think that goes, without saying. I don't think that. But the thing is, dropping him, like I heard you at the beginning saying, look, do we drop him? Who do we play instead of him? And obviously, he still offers something. Like, I think he could have scored today. He created that little bit of play when then he should have scored or passed it back instead of gone, for another shot. And I feel like he's still got that quality. Him and Son up top still got that quality together. So I don't think we can drop him, but he's definitely not got the heart for the club. And what we should have done is sold him. In hindsight, I did say 75 mil on Laporte was embarrassing. I would snap your hand off if they gave me that now, basically.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I do. In terms of Romero, again, I thought he played well today. He was getting a lot of love on socials. Yeah, what was your take on him? Getting a rare start, really.
Do you know what? He's obviously had to integrate in this team, and I think we had to be patient with him. We have heard brilliant things. Obviously, it was brilliant last season, obviously in his league, and I think we just had to be patient. But today, he played brilliantly, and it's what our backline needed. We needed an actual defender that can actually do well and actually take charge of that backline. Actually helped out Dyer a bit. I feel like Dyer had a better game, having Romero next to him, taking a bit more leadership and a bit more control. So I feel like he had a really, really good game. I'd like to see him start in our defence going forward now. In terms of Nuno, I've seen a few comments like, you saw Nuno out. Listen, we're looking at the wins, yeah? We got, other than the win against City and the win today, I don't think we deserve the other wins. Now, Nuno in, Nuno out, it's a bit irrelevant considering where our team is at the moment. But I do think a better manager can come in and get us playing that kind of football. Doesn't mean it's always going to win, but we can play that kind of football on a more regular basis. I just think, obviously, if he carries on in these performances, I've got no problem. Wasn't brilliant, but it was much better than we've had. So, yeah, we'll see on that. I think it's still a grey area.
No, of course it is, and I think people are right to kind of hold judgment. Don't do what some, and I will say some Arsenal fans did last week and say the corner has been turned, the trajectory is going up, and exactly. a week later you're a place or two lower down the league than when you said you were back, and it's just keep your powder
suddenly
dry.
We're on top of the almighty Arsenal that's back, and they're top 4 challengers, and we're now on top of them. So yeah, definitely got to be a little bit less reactionary, and that's coming from me, people. That's coming from me.
I hear that, and I would just say to people, keep your powder dry. Listen, Elle, thanks for coming on. I know you've been at the game, so thank you very much indeed. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Thanks
See ya. Bye. No worries. Bye. And that's what it's about. It's about keeping your powder dry. I've just tweeted out as well, right? And I tweeted out because I had to. So I responded to that person's tweet saying West Ham, and I get the typical responses from people saying, West Ham knocked you out the cup, pipe down. It's like, see, you're missing the point. Everybody thinks this is the banter era is cool, but everybody thinks everything is banter, right? So I've done another tweet that doesn't say West Ham. I've done another tweet that says clubs like Arsenal and Man United should not be accepting of this. This is the narrative I'm hearing a lot now. Oh, the Brentfords and the Villas and whoever have improved to a point where they're going to be taking points off of everybody. Yes, Brentford got points off of Liverpool. But how often in the last 3 to 4 years, we're talking over a long period of time, have these middle-of-the-road to newly promoted teams taken points off of City and Liverpool? How many are taking points under Tuchel's Chelsea? It's a rarity. It's a rarity in comparison to Tottenham in the last couple of years, Man United in the last fucking 8 years, and Arsenal in the last 10 plus years. To suddenly just, what I feel like we're trying to do is create this notion of, let's make it acceptable to drop points to these teams so that it's not looked at as a bad thing. With the money our clubs spend on players, salaries, managers and agents, it isn't acceptable. It isn't acceptable, or it shouldn't be tolerated. And that isn't a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of, if my squad's worth £800 million, If we pay some of our players 300, 400 grand a week, if we've got managers earning 10 plus million pounds a year, stadiums with 70, 60, 70,000 people in them, intimidating the away team. Yes, of course, there's always Fergie's best teams drop points to lesser teams at times. But it was few and far between. It is becoming all too regular now, and we try and paper over it by saying we're all on a level playing field. If the Villas and the Brentfords and the Wolves, if they're spending the same money as you, their squads are valued at the same level, they have the same level manager, same money being spent on agents, same salary structure, then fair enough. Fair enough, we can have that conversation. But they're not. They're not for me. And again, I have to keep throwing Man United into these conversations because otherwise people go, you're being biased. People's cognitive dissonance kicks in, their emotion takes over, and they don't want to listen. I'm not having a go at any one club. And it isn't to say these other teams are not good, but the frequency of which they're outplaying the bigger teams who spend more money is embarrassing. Utterly embarrassing. 110%. Super chat here from Wazza10 says, I'm all for sacking Ollie, but right now, who would be better? Kante would butt heads, with Ronaldo and Bruno, and Zidane wants the French job or Juve, not Man United. Well, it's about exploring that. So if you explore particular managers and they're not interested, then maybe you don't sack Ollie. I think there has to be a contingency. It shouldn't just be we sack him and be left with nobody. You don't want to go through a 2 or 3 month period of having an interim. So you have to have a replacement. But the club's job is to go out and find that person. That's what I would say. Jerome here says, good win, but I'm still not convinced about Nuno. As you said, we are focusing too much about Kane and forgetting that it's Levy and the board's lack of ambition that have put us in this situation. Absolutely. Leaf's on the show now to have his say with us. Smash that like and share button. Tottenham fan Leaf is here. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I thought that was a good win. I don't think that was attacking football, because if you look at our chances, every single chance we made was a chance out of transition. So either Villa pressed too high and then they left a space, or we just counterattacked. I think in the beginning, when they sat deep, it was very hard for us to break them down because we cannot break anyone down, which is why I think we will struggle a lot against low block teams. Otherwise, Son was really good. He completed so many dribbles. He played very well. Romero was outstanding. I don't know why he was dropped in so many games, but he needs to start every game. And the Dyer thing, you were spot on about Dyer. He basically cost us that goal, and that's down to Daniel Levy. We know that Paratici was looking for a second center back, but Levy said, "Well, it's fine. We already have 4 center backs. And I paid 50 million on this other one, so let's not get another one." And that's a problem with Daniel Levy.
Yeah, no, listen, I totally get where you're coming from, mate. Look, there's a comment here back onto what I was saying about standards, and somebody says, for me, if it's a one-off, then I can tolerate it in terms of losing points to a lesser team. But if it's frequent event, then questions have to be asked. It says money shouldn't indicate success. I know it should. If you spend 200 million pounds on a squad that's already worth 600 million, and you increase your wage bill by 70, 80, 90 million pounds per year, when you're going up against teams that have spent a fraction of you, if you've spent the money right and you have the correct coach playing the right system with those players, you should invariably be beating them. How we know that is Man City's team and Liverpool's team over a 4 or 5 year period have invariably beaten the majority of teams they've come up against. There are always exceptions that prove the rule, but I think it's almost like we're trying to create this thing in football now where we live in the exception and not the rule. And Spurs, for me, again, when you look at your squad on paper, when you're sitting in I know it's early stage in the league, but you're sitting 8th. You're not the 8th worst squad in the league. You've got a better squad than Everton, a better squad than Brighton, a better squad than Brentford, a better squad than West Ham, a better squad than Villa. Does it need to improve to get back into the top 4 on a regular basis? Yes. But then it's about looking at the others and saying, well, you know what? There's 1 or 2 players from each of those squads that would get in. But when you've got the players you've got, the level of performance should be at the level of those other teams. There's no excuse for Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, for Brentford, for Brighton, for Wolves, for Villa to play better football than we do. There is absolutely no excuse ever. Exactly. And there's none. And it's the performance that often dictate what creates the consistency. So for our clubs to spend more, to have better players but play worse football, it shouldn't be tolerated, ever. It's no shot, but Brentford will take points off quite a few teams. Well, fucking go and take Brentford's whole setup, buy it, and bring it to your club. Do you know what I mean? Maybe
That's
not
why
literally,
Nuno,
but sorry, mate, go on.
that's why Nuno has no excuse, because everyone is saying give him time, give it time. When there are other teams that are better than us, like Brighton, he's not allowed any time. Maybe if he was eighth or we lost a few games or we played well, yes, we give him time. But right now, I think he will get sacked probably in December, because I don't see how we're gonna score against low block teams. I wanted to speak on Harry Kane. I think we really should have sold him. The 125 million pounds, right now, it's almost too good to be true. 125 million for a player who does nothing. He's doing nothing. He created two chances, but he created two chances. He missed opportunities. He shouldn't miss those. But he's not smiling. He's not doing anything. He's not interacting with the fans. And I think we should sell him in January. Yeah.
I hear you on that. Listen, Lee, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. And everyone that's tuned in today. Freddie here says, we cover the big six. If Son is on fire, then what is Jamie Vardy on? Ratio, everyone's top scorer in the league, 8-season wonder. Yeah, listen, he's brilliant. And covering two, I didn't watch two games at once, so I wasn't covering that game today. But Jamie Vardy's absolutely sensational. And I'm gutted I took him out of my fantasy team when everybody said don't have him in there, because I would be a lot higher up my table right now than I am. But there we go. Thank you very much, Freddie, for that super chat. Thank you, SYAN. I don't know how you pronounce that word. Is it a word? It might be an acronym for something. But thank you for signing up as an official Academy member. We're live after Liverpool versus Man City. Make sure you smash the like button before you leave. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all